I'm not going back there. Okay, you might think I did something really stupid right now because I'm on an ice lake. But this lake is very shallow. It's like 1 meter at most. So even if I went to go through at that place, I think it's around half a meter. So it would not. I wouldn't drown. Okay, I would not drown. I would get cold. I would get a cold shower, but I would not drown or die. So that's why I'm taking the risk of being out there. It didn't make noises before that, but right there it did because the sun is like warming up this area, and it's very thin ice around there. Okay, back to the river. I want you to imagine a river, all right? This river is flowing, like all rivers are. It would not be a river if it wasn't flowing. And in this river you have a person. Now, if this person is just relaxing, he will be dragged along this river by the force and the flow of the river, right? But this person can also choose some things to do. For example, he can swim. But the direction of the way he's swimming is quite important, right? If he's swimming directly against the river, that would be a huge waste of energy, in my opinion. Maybe he wants to do it, that's fine. He can go ahead and do that. I personally do not want to swim against this river. Some of you might think, oh, you can swim to the side and get out of the river. But no. This river is infinitely wide. But what you can do is you can swim with the river. And when we swim with the river, you are getting some extra energy put into each and every one of your strokes. You'll be propelled forward because the whole mighty river is behind you. But you can go left or right. You can choose different directions, which is still along this river. Just as you can choose different directions to swim against the river. The worst one would be directly against it because that would require most of energy and you would not get that many places. You would not get anywhere really. Yeah. Well, anyway, this whole thing I'm explaining right now is a thought experiment or the Tao. Yeah. The thing is, talking about the Tao is quite difficult sometimes because what I'm trying to describe can't really be described because I'm using words and concepts to communicate to you. But to use words and concepts to make you explain and feel something which is not a concept would be impossible. I can't make you feel it by using words, but you might get at least a sense of it. That is why the first line in the Tao Te Ching, written by Lao Tzu, says the following: the Tao that can be spoken of is not the eternal Tao. It also has you could say a broader translation, sister translation, which is because the Tao can also mean way or path. So you could say the way that can be weighed, meaning walked, is not the eternal way. Some people might prefer this translation. I do prefer the first one. But the second one also has some philosophical ideas behind it, which is quite powerful, in my opinion. Well, if you go back to the river analogy, there are many people who live today who actually do choose to swim against this river. Also known as resisting, well, reality, or the Tao. And when you resist reality, well, you use a lot of energy on not going anywhere, really. Examples include getting irritated over a traffic light in the traffic. Many people do that. They honk all they can, they tailgate, and there have been papers proving that if you do tailgate, everybody is actually moving slower, rather than if everybody were to move at a slow, consistent pace, that would be faster. But people are tailgating and they're not getting anywhere because they're irritated. They are somewhere in this world which they don't feel content being. They simply don't want to be in that place, in that car, that taxi, wherever, at that time. So they're not content, and if you're not content, you're unhappy. So that is one of the consequences of not living in accordance with the Tao. You get unhappy, you get stressed, and after a lifetime of resistance, you get high blood pressure, chronic stress. And the funny thing is that it manifests itself right about here, in between the brows. You can see this actually, that some people, they have like this kind of wrinkle all the time because they're never fully relaxing. They're never, shall I say, accept the Tao or the flow of things. They try to control everything. They are perfectionists. By the way, I am no saint. I am guilty of many of these things myself, as most people are, I would assume. Other examples of living, of resisting the Tao is, for example, trying to sleep, like forcing yourself to sleep. That does not work. That does not work at all. The only way to sleep would be to let go and doze off. Easier said than done, I know. You could also sedate yourself, but that would be forcing yourself to sleep with medications, and you will not get a high quality sleep. You will not fully rest. You will, yes, go into a dream state, or a sleep state, but it will not be high quality. Some people use alcohol. Some people think alcohol actually makes you sleep better, but from what I've read online is that alcohol does make you maybe, doze off, but your quality of sleep is lacking so hard that you might actually wake up feeling not rested at all. Other examples of going against the Tao is maybe trying to get a baby to get like a crying baby to sleep. That is a very difficult task. If you're trying to make it go to sleep and it's not, you might get even more irritated, and so on and so on. It does not work. What you can do, however, is hold the baby up, pick it up, give it a hug, and rest with it on your chest for a moment, which is, by the way, a very precious moment that you will only have a finite number of times to do so. Picking up your child, you can't do that forever. Well, unless you're a very strong bodybuilder, I guess, but there is a finite amount of time. So what does it mean to actually live in accordance with the Tao, actually follow this river down the stream and choose your path? What does that mean? Well, it usually means to let go of your ego, let go of your need to control everything, let go of the perfectionism. It means to live in it means to live in uncertainty about the future. Yes. It means to live with uncertainty. It means to let go of the past. There's no reason to cling on to the past, I see, except for maybe memories or so on and so on. You will have those. You don't automatically let them go. You can if you want to, but some memories actually haunt people. For example, traumas. But that is a different topic, because trauma and PTSD, that can actually lead you to be unable to let go of things. So I'll not go into that right now. Well, When you do finally start to let go and you live in uncertainty and you actually trust your instincts, things start to happen. Cool things start to happen. You stop pretending, for example. You start to be honest with yourself. You start to listen to your body and what it actually needs. You might even start to feel content with where you are in the world. And when you're content with where you are in the world, you get happy.